and welcome to the Christine Love Show. How is everyone doing? You guys knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. So here I am. Okay, so today's guest is Jonathan. And as you can see, the topic is how or if you are ready to start a relationship. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to bring Jonathan into the studio. Everybody welcome Jonathan.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening.
How are you, love? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Fine. Welcome to my show. Thank you for the support.
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to jump right into my standard questions that I kind of want to know for myself is actually, so tell me about yourself and what you're working on.
Well, I'm in my 25th year at Fremont Dental, East Point Family Dental. We've been doing that for some time now, my sister and I.
Yay!
I am currently selling real estate, looking to put up some property right now. Been working all day on that.
Okay.
And I got a couple of other things in the works. So once it unfolds, I'll keep it posted.
Okay. Sounds good. So if a lot of people don't know, can you tell us, how did we meet?
Well, as I said, the aforementioned dental office, working with your children. They were coming into the office. Your son, notably, was getting some treatment done, and you disliked me when we first met.
Goodness.
Yeah, thought I was an asshole for some unknown reason. But nonetheless, over time, and then we accidentally met up, 7 years later?
Oh my God, yes.
Reconnected and have been going strong ever since.
Yes, strong. All right. So also, this goes without saying, but just for the sake of asking, what made you come on my show?
Well, to support you. You invited me, number one. This is a thing I don't normally do this, but I'm understanding that's the way things are now, and I want to congratulate you for what you're doing. I want to support what you're doing and let you know that the demons and devils are shaking their boots because you're getting some things done and they want to try to stop you, but you're not going to let them stop you despite the onslaught that's going to come from all the people that are going to try to tell you to do something different. You keep pushing and do what you think you need to do and do it the best way.
Thank you so much. And I specifically brought you on this particular topic because these are the questions that I ask myself, like, am I ready for a relationship? Not just any relationship, but a healthy relationship. And can you determine whether you are ready for a relationship or you just, like what I used to say, something to do. So we're going to jump right into the first question. What kind of relationship are you looking for?
A healthy, loving, respectful adult relationship.
Okay. And do you think you have that?
Totally. Because it takes two. It takes two to make that happen. One, the person you're dealing with, and two, the mentality of yourself, which, if those aren't working together, it's not going to be right.
No, you're absolutely right. So we're going to continue this train going here. Does this person bring out the best or worst in you?
Wait, is that a general question or is that a question regarding how do you know if you're ready for a relationship?
It's pretty much going through the questions of just all under the same umbrella. So the questions are just basically relationship based and is the person you're dating now, because I'm talking to you as if we're not together, which
oh shit. Wow.
So
of course the person I'm dating is bringing out the best.
No, you gotta answer it truly, because if I don't, you know what I'm saying? I need to know. No. So you said
well, one, I think honestly, you shouldn't rely on the other person to bring out the best in you. See, when you're already putting that weight on that person's shoulders, you're looking for a big upset. Right. You got to bring the best out of yourself, and in a good relationship, they help you support what you're trying to do to make the happiness or the best of you keep going.
Right.
So it's not for them to bring out the best in you.
Right.
It's for you to bring out the best in yourself and for them to support that concept.
Ooh, absolutely, bingo. And I feel that's what we got going on, because you make me want to be my best, and I hope that I am the best for you. I am. All right, next question. At this point, were you willing to take things slow? In a relationship, I guess what I'm saying is, how when you know you're ready for a relationship is that, are you willing to move this thing fast, or does it take for someone to be willing to move slow? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. There's no right or wrong answer to that. You've got to go with your feelings. I guess you really shouldn't be on a timetable,
right?
Even though, as you get older, obviously time is going against you, but you should never race to any type of conclusion, because then you got to ask yourself, what are you rushing for? Are you doing the right reason, or are you working off of a schedule that you made up yourself, and they're going to make things happen a certain way just to beat the clock when they didn't come through the way they needed to in the time that they needed to? So I don't think you should ever rush anything, but I also don't think, you got to go at your own pace, whatever that pace is.
Okay. So just a quick question. Do you think, and not to get into too detailed, but we kind of move fast. So what do you think about that? Do you think it was because we, sped that train along because we did know each other prior to us starting this relationship?
Yeah, I think we were able to move at the pace because we already knew each other to some extent. We obviously were never in any type of relationship prior to that. There was nothing going on. But the fact that we were familiar with each other, we had a concept of each other, and even then we said some things we probably wouldn't have said had we met in another way. Right. So then we kind of had a realistic background of who we were dealing with when we came into the situation.
Right.
So I had an opinion about you, and you clearly told me you had an opinion about me to some extent, based on the things that I told you about myself, and vice versa.
Right.
So when we got to know each other, it wasn't like, hey, I didn't know this about you, or vice versa.
Right.
And then on top of that, we communicated a lot. We talked a lot. There was a lot of back and forth. It wasn't just a lot of background noise and us being together out somewhere. We had full-blown conversations that I don't know a lot of people do anymore. No. So the speed at which we moved was based on the level of conversation we were having about real things, and uncomfortable things at that.
Oh God. Yes.
Well, I mean, we've said things to each other that someone else would say, why did you tell that person that was happening?
Right.
So, yeah, exactly. I mean, but yet we handled it. We heard it. We accepted it. Obviously, neither thing had to do with us individually. I mean, as we're in a relationship, but you say these things. We had the opportunity to get out of this situation, knowing all this stuff. But hey, we kept going.
Yeah, we did, and still going.
Right, and it's come back kind of in other situations where, had we not said that back then, this thing that we're hearing now would be a relationship breaker in some situations. So that being upfront about our lives kind of helped solidify what we were doing.
Yeah. What's that terminology you use? Skin in the game. Define that for these youngsters.
Nah, skin in the game. When you first get started, you've got nothing to lose, and really, that's the best time to say everything.
Okay.
Because now, if they know everything, they can't be shocked when something comes up down the road. Right. What I know now will either make or break me sooner. I'd rather leave at the beginning than to find out some BS later and be like, I gotta go. Yeah. Because now you're like, well, I already knew. You already knew what I was doing and vice versa. So, what, you gonna act like you shocked behind something? No. But when you get into it deeper, you don't want to hear those types of things later on down the road.
Oh, no.
Oh, because it's going to affect you differently down the road.
Yeah. It feels different. It hits different.
Totally. You don't want to have some skeletons come out the closet, 2-3 years in. The skeleton comes out 2 or 3 weeks in, and you like, hey, okay, that's just what it was. You don't have that kind of skin in the game, quote unquote, to where you're feeling all these feelings and like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? You can just accept it. Hey, we're just talking and get to know each other. We had lives before we met each other.
Absolutely.
We're just talking about our lives together.
Yeah.
I mean, individually.
Yeah.
And then, what you tell me today isn't a problem because I knew about it yesterday.
Woo! Amen. And we still struggle with that, but at the same time, it's different. We can be mature about it and know who we're dealing with versus just trying to figure it out in the beginning. We kind of know each other and we distracted, but we're on track.
Well, that too, but if anything, if anything is bothersome about whatever did happen, it's not the thing, it's the mentality behind and the outlook on it. For example, whatever I did yesterday, okay, I did it, but how do I view that? What's my mindset about what I did? And then would I do that again? Am I still in that same mode where this is acceptable or that's okay? Or, you know what, that was a call. I'm not even going to say I'm glad I did it because of a learning lesson. That to me is BS. If I could do it again, I wouldn't do it again because of my mindset now. And I just know I wouldn't be in that situation. If on the other hand, we talk about something in the past and we say, hey, what's the big deal? Then that's where we start, wait a minute, what's the big deal? That's where it becomes a problem because now you're still, or I'm still thinking like I was opposed to how I am. And then that's the discomfort because of the skin in the game. And if I'm still saying that's okay what I did back then, like it's all right, then the question is, well, what are you going to do when you're in that situation again?
Right. Good stuff. All right, moving along here. Does seeing your ex with someone new make you jealous, sad, or angry? I think this plays a major role in moving on to determine if you're ready for a relationship. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it makes a big difference. But to answer the question directly, it doesn't make me feel any kind of way. Because that was back then. I mean, it's over. That's water under the bridge. If anything, you could either feel nothing, or you could be, hey, I'm glad that person's got somebody. I hope they're doing fantastic with whatever they're doing. So the thoughts should either be positive or it should be empty. It shouldn't. If it's anything less than that, then there's something going on that you got to check yourself about.
I agree. Like anybody that I ever dated, I wish them the best and sincerely hope that they are more happy or can be even as close to happy as I am right now. So to answer that question directly, no, not sad, jealous, nothing. Just happy that we're both moving on with our lives. It didn't work. Chop it up, move it on. And I just hope, live life and live well.
Well, you added a twist. You said you feel happy, which I did not say that. I don't necessarily feel happy about something else. I said I hope they're doing okay. Seeing them does not generate any emotional feeling for me. So it's not. But to them, it's just a general. I hope they're doing fine. If they're not, oh well. But there's no joy or no sadness or no. I'm just indifferent to it. And that's because that's just what that is.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Right. I think happiness to me, like I'm genuinely like happy for them because I'm just happy for them. Like, because I never had my last relationship ended kind of crazy, but other than that, most of my ex, I still maintain some type of there's no beef. So to genuinely see them with someone happy, that makes me happy. I I don't know what, I mean, I don't know. That's it. I'm just happy.
That's your answer.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I'm happy for them. So, going on, are you looking for someone to complete you? How do you feel about trying to be with someone just to feel completed?
Well, I mean, I think that's a catchphrase that people throw around, like, "Oh, you complete me." I think that was a movie line somewhere. I think that was maybe, I don't know what movie that was. Jerry Maguire, I think, was a line that Tom Cruise said to somebody. I mean, you again, that sounds okay on paper, and I believe that, you know, your partner should compliment you. Mm-hmm. But again, if you're looking for, then you're putting that weight on somebody else's shoulders, and that I think is kind of not really. You got to be pretty darn near complete yourself. And it's more like, versus this 50-50, you got to give 100 and they got to give 100, and then you got a bigger percentage completion, opposed to this better half type thought process. I don't like that personally. I get the concept in one aspect, but on the other hand, you got to bring it all for yourself and for your relationship, and then find somebody that does the same thing equally.
Right, so that Keisha Cole song, "You Complete Me," you don't like that? I love this song.
I don't know that song.
All right, so let's see here. Are you done working on yourself? And I think we kind of touched that with the complete part about completing, being complete, and before you start in a relationship, should you complete working on yourself? So we're gonna keep going, because I think that kind of the same thing. Well, correct me if I'm wrong with being complete.
No, I think it's a different question. I mean, does your person complete you, was a question before.
Right.
Are you looking for someone to complete you? And that was addressed. Now, the question you're asking now is, are you done working on yourself?
Okay.
Then the answer for everybody should be no. You know, you're never done working with yourself. You're always tweaking something. Nobody's perfect. That's number one. Number two, in a perfect situation, or regardless of the situation, we're always trying to be our better selves, to improve something and to grow and to learn and to bring more to our life. If someone says they're complete, then you need to move on from that person, because that no, really, because you're complete. What does that mean? Yeah. So you've got nothing else to learn. You've got nothing else to change. You've got nowhere else to grow. I'm a long way from being complete, and I don't even pretend to be. You know,
you complete, baby.
No. You say that now, but when the camera goes off,
listen.
Yeah.
Moving on. Do you believe that you learn what you need to know to try dating again? Do you believe that you've learned what you need to know to try dating again? Like, whatever that was, did you learn whatever that was to try to date again, to apply it to do better?
Yes. I mean, yes is the answer to that question. Yes.
Okay.
I think, because I think you gotta, you should have learned something of yourself. Because all you can do is factor you in. When you're in a relationship and it ends, it's a waste of time to think about the other person. They're not in the picture no more. The question is about you. You know, we too often want to talk about what they did wrong and how they this and they that and they this, and we go right to something else, still thinking about what they didn't do right, and never stop to think about what we didn't do right. Because even if you weren't the person that did the quote unquote wrong thing, you still weren't perfect, because, like the other question, you're still learning, you're still growing. So the past relationship, all you can do is analyze what you did, and then if you did something right, you keep that going. If you did something wrong, you change that, and you move on. But you don't ever not question yourself.
And I think coming into this relationship with you, I learned that, holy cow, I blamed people and still work on and struggle it now instead of owning it. You know, this applies to not just relationship. This applies to being, you know, at work. You know, when we jack up something at work, we want to be the first one to say, well, it was because. And just now when I'm at work, I think about you when something doesn't go right. And instead of me making up excuses, right, you're right. I didn't, you know, I wasn't able to get that done. I'll get it done. Make sure, instead of saying, well, I didn't get it done because X, Y, and Z. Oh, I was good for that. I was good for giving excuses, good in all. Whew. So with being with you, it taught me to take ownership. So
you got to. You have to. If you don't own your own thing, you can live a life of blaming everybody for what didn't happen for yourself. At the end of the day, whatever you don't accomplish is 100% on you. Because very, 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 very few people actually have these sinister creatures lurking behind the corners doing things to you consistently. Which means I didn't make it because someone actually did this thing. That's rare. It happens in certain situations, but even then, that's a limitation. Some people, obviously, you have a nightmare, but for the most part, most of us aren't succeeding or have issues because of what we aren't doing, not because of what the other people are doing.
Well said, babe. Well said. All right. Moving on here. Do you feel confident knowing what to do differently next time? Meaning, what all this is basically saying is being confident to know that once we talked about what we learned, am I confident enough to apply it and do it differently in a relationship? If I'm still tiptoeing like, then I guess is the question saying I'm not ready because I'm still not 100% wanting to do it differently than what I did it before? How do you perceive that question?
Repeat the question.
Question is, do you feel confident knowing what to do differently next time? This is all based on starting.
Yes. The answer one to the overall point of this topic is you need to feel confident about that answer before you go into another relationship. I think it goes without saying. It needs to be done. It doesn't need to be. You don't need to fiddle faddle with it. When you leave one relationship, you need to take a break before you do something else. You do not need to hop, skip, and jump into one thing to go to the next thing. And this is from experience. You don't have 2 or 3 people on deck and keep. I'm serious. I mean, we do it. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know the stats on this, but I think too many people, whatever that number is, will have, especially if you're a single person, you're dating and you're going out on all these dates and you're trying to figure out who's the best one. Okay, well, you need to, in a mature situation, you got to go one at a time. And then when that one thing doesn't work, you got to then clean the slate, which is clean your slate, clean yourself out. And then before you start something else, because all you're doing is bringing one thing into the next and into the next, and you never have time to breathe from where you were to where you are, and you still dealing with 3 relationships ago, and this relationship you're with now, wondering why something ain't jiving right.
So how long did you wait? I mean, I know the answer, but just for my viewers, what is the time? Because someone says wait, and I mean, I waited a month. I waited 3 weeks.
I was, knocking on 2 years.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Before I'd say, hey, let me see what's going on.
Wait a minute. 2 years before you decided, AKA with me, but before you, it was a solid. Well, I thought back about it. It was over a year. Okay. Okay, and what would you call that period? You called it the like purging. What did you call it when you were
But I don't have a title for it.
Yeah, but you didn't do anything.
But you definitely need to purge. I mean, purging is a good word to use. You definitely need to purge and flush your system of where you were before you try to go somewhere different.
Okay. Cool. And do you believe that things will work out the way that they're supposed to? Meaning, if you have that stigmatism on, it ain't gonna work. I'm gonna go into this relationship, but I just know it ain't gonna work. Does that mindset, I feel, hinders the outcome of the relationship as well? And does that?
Of course it does. Well, now you can't go into anything in life thinking something ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
A lot of people do a lot of things they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
One of which is bringing negativity into their own daily existence. I mean, you should not expect anything to work if you don't believe it's going to work. It's just like, I'm going to lose the game, and then you don't accidentally win. No, you don't win by accident. You win because of training and effort and game planning, which was bringing to a point that about this whole relationship thing. Most of us don't have a game plan when we get into a relationship. It's like, we just happen to be in a relationship. Let me just do something to be doing. Like you said, do something to be doing it.
Right.
Again, this is coming from someone who did not always do this. I'm not a water walker. I did not do everything right. I did most things the wrong way to get to the point where I am now, to where I could scream this from the mountaintop. It's just so much wasted time on doing things just to be doing it without a plan. Like with anything, if you don't plan to get your money right, you're going to mess up. If you don't plan to keep your car cleaned up, you're going to mess up. You don't plan on keeping your credit good, it's going to mess up. So you can't think, I can not plan this relationship, but yet it's going to succeed. It doesn't work like that. You got to come into a relationship with a game plan.
Oh man.
Then the person you're dealing with has to be brought up to speed and say, hey, are you with this game plan? And if they don't want to be with it, say, that's no problem. Either I'll give you a second and try to figure out the game book, the playbook, or you know what, let me just go on somewhere else. Because we wasted too many people's times and we're going back and forth, and all I'm doing is damaging you damaging me, and we taking that damage to the next person, and it's like this waterfall. It's like a snowball effect. Everybody walk around messed up because what happened over here. It's crazy, but we do it every day.
Yeah, when I met you, I was like, I used to say all the time, I got my 50%. They need to have their 50%. Let me tell you, when I met you, 25%, I thought I had it going on. I thought I could bring this, bring that. When you was like, look, my girl got to, credit score got to be on point. Some of the things I think men need to be focused on as much as women are focused on. He got to have this, he got to have that. You were like, hey, you cool and all, but my girl got to have this. Boom, we got to be on our basically on our shit. And I was like, uh-oh. Because
I don't think I said you gotta have it. I said, hey, these are things that need to be talked about, so we know where we are with it. I'm sorry.
I remember filling out an application.
No, you didn't fill an application. I asked you questions. No, since we're gonna talk about this, I asked questions that too many people aren't asking, but yet they drop and draw. So you want to be real about something. So I can't get, how you gonna let me get this, but then I can't ask you what your credit score is. Like, that's offensive. But I can do all these things over here with the lights off. Ooh. But yeah, this is offensive. Like, what y'all? What? I'm not a economist or I know, a scientist. I'm not. These are real life situations where we're putting ourselves in. And we're playing games. I've played games, and I'm telling you this straight up. But when you have a plan, they got to know your plan. And it's not fair. I have been unfair to women in my life, and I don't need to shuck and jive about that. And they've been unfair to me. So when you get to the point, say, hey, you know what? Let me be real. Let me come with this. And then if that's not something you like, then hey, believe it or not, folks, there are a lot of fish in the sea. There are more people out there. Don't worry about wasting time here, there. Just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Because if you got your thing together,
yeah,
I promise you it's going to come. Now, it may not come the way you want it. And you got to put into it. You just can't go somewhere and sit down and think you're going to get that dude going to come to you, which is a whole other topic.
Yeah.
You know, you got to sometimes say, hey, how you doing? And then push the question about what's important to you, and then and vice versa, and then keep it moving. It ain't just about getting in nobody's pants no more. Some people still living that life, but it ain't really about that. That ain't always gonna be. That's not what's gonna keep you where you need to be.
Some of my questions weren't added. I definitely brought up trust issues. Oh my goodness. I think that is the number one killer of relationships. Going from one relationship to another and not trusting. I feel, forget everything else. That's number one in my book. Like if you can't trust that person, I can't do it. Like
here's the thing about that trust thing. Unfortunately, the trust problem that most of us have are because of ourselves.
True.
You don't trust that person because of what you've been doing,
right?
What you got going on. If you come in, like if you take that real purge that you need to, then the trust is almost as much as a given, and you have to lose the trust opposed to gain the trust. I'm telling you, just hear me out. If I meet you, right, and we're talking, right, I should assume, if I don't assume the best of you, that I don't need to waste my time with you. If I got one eye open, now again, I don't have to, give you the passcodes to all of my savings accounts, but I need to assume, hey, this person's okay. I gotta have faith in my ability to choose good people,
right? And
then you got to prove me otherwise. Mm-hmm. I can't be saying, okay, I'm gonna sit back and see if I can trust you. Because again, I go back to this. We can screw all day long, but I don't trust you.
That goes with maturity, though.
But that's what we're talking about. So don't have somebody come with this. Oh, I don't know if I trust this person. But yeah, y'all over here. Not only are you screwing, but you're not even having protected sex. But then you're gonna talk about whether you trust somebody or it's too late for that.
Ouch! Right?
You done lost. I don't trust you, but I believe you're not gonna bring me no type of nothing. Come on, that's what I'm talking about. The trust isn't even really looked at the right way. That's the kind of stuff. Come on,
This is what I'm saying. These are the conversations that me and Jonathan have all the time. And I used to come in with them conversations like boom, boom, boom. And he used to be like, no, no, no. And I'd be like, oh man, okay, I see. So now I'm looking back at things and looking at things differently. So I'm not going anywhere, baby. But you have prepared me, God. If anything happens, you have prepared me to know what I want, what type of relationship I want. And, I learned a lot from you. Like,
I don't know. I don't think I prepared you. I think we just had conversations.
I'm letting you know. I'm giving you
open the mindset to think about something.
I'm giving you your flowers, baby.
I'm in there in the laboratory.
I'm giving you your flowers. Own it.
I'm not about to die.
Y'all, he don't even know the terminology, giving you your flowers. Do you know what that means, giving you your flowers?
I know what it means.
Okay. So I'm just, a lot of people can see different from me and what I used to do than what I'm doing now. We ain't gonna talk about that. That's a whole nother show. But speaking of that lifestyle, that's the end of the questions that I have for tonight. So let's jump into the TikTok of.
Anyways, I'm so mad y'all didn't take me with you to look how she's early. I could have tested out my new look.
Uh-huh. Boy, you stupid.
So I know my baby, he's like TikTok. He be like, oh yeah. I picked that one because, man, back in the day, if anybody knew, boy, you get tipsy, man, let me tell you, I done got kicked out of plenty clubs just messing around. And I'm not that, when I go out, I'm not nowhere near turned up like that. To get some alcohol in me, I got my girls with me, and it goes down. Anyway, that was the TikTok that I chose for today. As you can see, Jonathan is just Jonathan. All right, so let's not forget the reason of my show is the confession line. Confession line, we're getting them in. The calls are coming in. For those who haven't called, come on, call. It's a confession line, anonymous. Just go ahead and put on there your story, your detail, and let's talk about it. Let's get better together. So here's a quick introduction to that part of my show, which is the confession, is the whole reason I'm doing this. Of course, I'm going to have guests on here that we're going to talk about, and like we did, and jump into different situations and different topics. But the main core of my show is confessions. We all have our secret shames. The great thing about the internet is that we can hide behind a screen and say things that we would never say in a face-to-face conversation. My show is all about getting it off your chest and owning up to the past wrongs. While confessing hardly takes responsibility for one's actions, the very act of confessing can alleviate feelings of guilt and help people to get on with their lives. Confessing might even make you reflect on your own past transgressions. So, call *67 404 537 0030 to leave your confession. Let the therapy begin. And that is the number on the screen you see at the bottom, 404-537-0033. I want to thank you, Jonathan, for coming. You are my biggest support. I said I wanted to do this, and you made it happen. So I thank you, and I love you, and thank you for coming and being a part of my show.
Love you too, and thank you for having me.
All right, you guys, until the next time, stay tuned for the next show, and I'm excited.